Okay, good afternoon, gents. How you doing, pal? All the same to you as well, but hopefully we'll have a better week this week. It was a real tough one. I think I ended up break even last week, which was the first time I can remember. What I will say is I am trading on two charts at the moment. I noticed that a bit of a look at the. It's been really tough. Conditions have been really tough for the last few weeks. I think mainly that I can gather is because of the institutional traders taking holidays around this sort of time of year, so things are a little bit quiet. But what I will say, I'll say hello first, and then I'll explain what I did over the weekend and how we may find an option to be able to find some trades. So, good afternoon, Wood. Afternoon, Brick. Chris, how are you? Graham, good afternoon. Exponential Trader, good day to you all. So, okay, so I went through. Now, I don't know if those of you remember, and I can't exactly remember why, but about a year ago, I think it was about a year, it might have been a bit more, volume went really volatile for a period of time. And I don't know if any of you remember back there, Max suggested that you could move up to the 3,000 tick chart and that would slow things down, which it did. Obviously, 2,000 trades and 3,000 trades, the bars with 3,000 trades last about 50% longer. So that slowed things down. Now, markets are the opposite at the moment. They're very slow. So I don't see why you can't change your tick chart or move down or whatever. Now, over the weekend, I went back on Friday. Now, I did post this on the Facebook group. I went back on Friday and got the 1,000 tick chart and the 2,000 tick chart and went through the setups. And there was nothing on the 2,000 tick chart, and I didn't take any. But there was two really good quality trades on the 1,000 tick chart. So it makes sense if we're struggling to find them on the 2,000 tick charts. There's, price action works on any time frame. It shouldn't matter. So what I'm going to do quickly, before market opens in about 4.5 minutes, I'm going to quickly drag in. Now, some of you may have seen these. Some of you may have seen these. I posted them on the, let's make this a bit small. I posted them on the Facebook group the other day. So I'm going to quickly bring this one in, okay? So, in fact, it's probably better if I do it the other way around, actually. Let me bring this one in. Okay, so this is a 1,000 tick chart now in the afternoon. Okay, so as you can see there, touch. Okay, that's confirmed. This is a channel for me. It fits really nice. Okay, first entry. There's a second entry short there. Okay, clearly off the entry point, came down and made the points. That's the 1,000 tick chart. So on the 2,000 tick chart, exactly the same area, no setup. Clearly no setup. Okay, so if you can clearly see that, yeah. And also you can call that a failure if you like, failure. And what I like about it is you've got those two bullish bars there, and there's probably a couple of legs down going to be some buyers in there, and that came down beautifully. So that was the first one. Now the next two are even clearer. So let me just bring this one in. Okay, so the 2,000 tick chart. Okay, we had a leg up. Bring this in a bit more. We had a clear leg up. We had a two-legged correction and a push up and a new high. No trade there, just 1, 2, 3 bars. But if you look on the 1,000 tick chart, setups don't look any better than this. We got a leg there, a break, two-legged correction, an absolutely perfect higher low. Clearly went up and made the points. Now, you can't deny that. That's exactly how a high low should look. It's perfect. Leg up there, channel break, 1, 2 perfect measured legs down. I'll never take that first one, but the higher low is perfect. And that went for about 6 or 7 points all in all to break the high. So there was two charts two trades that I could not find on the 2000 tick chart, but they were clearly there on the 1000 tick chart. So to me, it's a no-brainer. So at the moment, I've got the 2000 tick chart in front of you, and I've got the 1000 tick chart above. Now, if I see a trade on either one of them, I'm going to take it. So I don't know whether that's of interest to you. I thought you'd mention it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's down to you. But I'm going to continue to keep the 2000 tick chart here and trade the other one. Now, the beauty about this as well is if you look at the ATR there, it's 2 3/4 points. So tick above, tick below. The average risk is 3 1/4 points, which is a little larger than normal at the moment. Whereas on the 1000 tick chart, the ATR is less. So a tick above, tick below, you're talking a 2.25 risk. So it's less risk and more detail on this. So I'm going to trade these both today. So if I see a setup on the 1000 tick chart, I'm going to take it. And then when it's finished, I'll drag it in so you can have a look. But as Max says, you can trade any time frame. Price action, pure price action works on any time frame. And at the moment, we're just not seeing trades. I'm not seeing good enough trades for me to get interested. So we've got to do something. So we'll see how we get on today anyway. Let's have a look. Exponential brick. Can you only take fewer points on a lower time frame? Well, not necessarily. I mean, look, if you look at the tick chart at the moment, the 1000 tick chart at the moment, the ATR is 1.7, yeah? Recently, the ATR went down to about as low as 1.3, but this seems to be a comfortable area because you can clearly see at the moment the 2000 tick chart is 2 3/4 points, so it's a high risk. So it's up to you what you do, obviously. But if I see a setup on the 1000 tick chart, I'm going to take it. And then it's a matter of playing it by ear. So we'll see how we get on anyway. So you know that Mac talks about 2000 tick chart resembles a 5-minute pattern, but I notice nowadays every bar on 2000 tick chart takes about, it's only fast. So 1000 will be 25 to 40 seconds, something like that. Yeah. For me, it was just a fact that I saw two really good setups on the 1000 on Friday, which I didn't see on the 2000. I also looked on Thursday as well, and Wednesday, and Tuesday, and Monday. And there was a difference on all of them. Now, I would have got a lot more trades last week if I'd have been trading the 1000 tick chart. So it's a no-brainer for me that you have to do something. Now, I posted this on and I spoke to a few people about it, and a couple of people agreed that at the end of the day, as a trader, it's your job to adapt to different scenarios, different situations. And we have changed our tick chart before. We went up to the 3000 tick chart when things were very volatile and prices moving. So you either sit back and not take many trades, or you try and adapt. And I'm not saying you have to do it, or I have to do it. But I thought this week I'd have both charts up and see what I can see. If I see a good enough trade, I'm just going to stick my normal 2 points. If I see a good enough trade on the 1000 tick chart, I'm going to take it. Now, if you look at the two charts together, they're not dissimilar at all. In fact, they're almost identical. I'm just going to drag it in quickly. Yeah. Look at the difference. Okay, let's put them there. They're almost identical. We've got that same break here, which is there, a little bit sideways. There's just twice as much detail here. So it's not dissimilar at all. It'll look exactly the same. There'll just be more bars. So it's a matter of choice. Obviously, you've got the choice to do it. I'm going to continue to keep this 2000 tick chart. Nothing's going to change there, but I have got the 1000 tick chart above me. So if I do see a setup, I'm going to take it. And if it works, I'm going to drag it in so you can have a look. Now, it's entirely up to you whether you want to, have the 1000 tick chart yourself and have a look at both, or you want to just let me sort of be the guinea pig, if you like, and we'll play it by ear. But if we see the week out and you see a difference, then obviously you can make your own decisions. But as Matt has said many times before, pure price action works on any time frame. So it's a case of you may get more, you may get less setups, but it works exactly the same. But what I'm seeing in the 2000 tick chart is a real lack of high quality setups. We're not seeing many second entries at all. We're seeing maybe a few more triple tests and trading tops and bottoms of these small ranges. But I'm not a fan of these. I've been caught out with them before. It's something I'm working on and trying to improve. Yes, I can. I'm trying to improve. But I'm just not a massive fan of them. So, market has opened. It's been open for 3 minutes now, so just reloading my historic. So let's keep an eye on it. Cherry pick. Well, I've been cherry picking for a while now, and I'm struggling to find any cherries, in all fairness. So it's a case of just trying and seeing how we get on. But I'm going to trade both charts, one above my head and this one in front of me. So let's see how we get on. So I'm going to ditch that for a minute. Now, you don't have to keep glued to both charts, because obviously there are only certain times when we look for trades. We're not going to be trading up here. We want to get back to here, and same here. We're not trading in there. We want to trade. So you can just look at one chart if you like. You don't have to. Yeah, so both charts are reloaded. Al Brooks has said he doesn't like tick charts because he has to constantly change in accordance to the volatility. Well, that would make sense, so wouldn't it? But he also has said that there should be no more than 20 bars on the hour, otherwise you something. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Nice failure. I can't see a failure at the moment. You're about here, are you? Yeah, I think when it breaks above there, I think you're golden. But let's see how we get on anyway. So, but I've clearly got to do something because I'm finding a real struggle to find good quality setups. So let's see how we get on. So no more than, what did you say, 20 bars in an hour? No more than 20 bars. Okay. 20 bars in an hour? Well, there's more than 20 bars here, really, isn't it? Oh, I see what you mean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There's 20 here. 35. In about an hour and a quarter. And that's all pre-market, so I don't know. But this makes sense to me. But, you know, I'm not saying I'm definitely going to do it. But what I'm going to do is just keep my options open. Just keep both charts open, and then if something does happen, if we get a break from here and it pushes up here and it doesn't, you know, a lot of the times it'll break, it'll come up here and then it'll drop without giving us a setup. But if you have more detail there, you may get a setup. So like I say, if I just quickly show you that second one again. So this one here, we had that leg up. You can clearly see 1, 2, 3, 3 touch. We've got a channel up there. Perfect measured leg down, push up, new high, but no setup. You've just got 3 green bars. But if you look on the 1000 tick chart, exactly the same leg up, 2 legs of correction, and a perfect higher low. But it's not there. Look at the difference. It's almost identical, but look at the difference. 3 green bars, nothing. Perfect higher low there. That's a trade, that is, and that went on right the way up here. So that first push, you know, you'd have got your money straight away. So it's a no-brainer for me, and I saw that a number of times. So you took 7 points. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Good for you. So let's have a look. So if you look at that, we came back about 50% there. And now we're pushing up. So we'll just have to keep an eye on this and see how we get on. Ford, I think so. Good morning. How are you? I'll say hello to everybody else, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I chatted with a sort of trader pal of mine who I talk to from time to time. He's more experienced than me. He's given me a few hints and a few tips. And he agreed that just be careful, looking at the two. But part of your job as a trader, Mac teaches you the basics, but part of your job is to adapt, to learn and adapt to the current conditions of the market. Don't worry about Al Brooks, 20 bars per hour, because he's not trading his system. Oh, he tries to trade on every bar so he can process. I got you. Yeah. But it's about adapting to different scenarios, what's going on here? Adapting to sort of different market conditions. And at the end of the day, markets do change. And sometimes you have to go with them. Now, you don't need to do anything. If you're still getting your trade or two a day and the markets are good for you, then don't change a single thing. Don't fix what's not broken. But I'm really struggling to find good quality setups, especially second entry longs. There's a real lack of them, and when we do see one, it's almost like disbelief. Yeah, I looked at this. There was a second entry short there which triggered, and it didn't come down that far. Now, the issue is we've already had a break here, so I wouldn't expect it to come down anymore anyway, so that might be why there's a trap. So there is an option for one there, a second entry long there. It is a doji, but it's still one tick off its high. So I think that might have been the option. In all fairness, just in case it triggers and comes down, I think I'd have preferred to put my order one tick above there, that bar there, which pushes it up. But it's a bit congested here. But we have had a break and a new low, but you are probably going to get... it could still come down. We got a leg break, another leg up, a couple of legs up to the EMA. There's a possibility it could come down, but I think if it does trigger above there, then it's likely to go up. So let me just bring that up there a minute like that. I'm going to leave that like there just for the minute. Because obviously that's clearly an overshoot. Let me have a look. A lot of traders in the TW discard took that lower high. Took that one there, Chris. That one there. Yeah, in my opinion, it's a mistake that because we've had a break. Now, it could still come down. It's possible. It could still come down. Nothing that says the market can't come down. Yeah. That's the great thing of having this fast internet. It doesn't make life pretty quick. Yeah, I mean, it's a second entry short. If you didn't take that, you may take the lower high. But for one, forgetting we've had a break now, there's 3 bars back to back there. So that's a bit of congested anyway. So if it breaks above there, and especially there, for me, that's going up. But at the time, I'm not really paying attention, in all honesty. But funnily enough, yeah, you haven't got that entry on the 2000 tick. You haven't got that entry, so it is useful to have both up actually, because I think really you do double your chances of a setup. I think. Now, if you look at currency traders, and I traded a bit of currency myself when I first started, they often trade multiple charts at the same time. Okay, so let me have a look here. So you've got to be a bit careful here, because what I will say is we've clearly got some, we've clearly got some resistance there. So you've got to be careful. I say it was looking like it's pushing down for a minute. It could go up, it could come down. This sort of could be just the area of the top of the range, and this may be a failed breakout. It's possible, but the trouble is it's a little bit too early on in the market to get a clearer picture of exactly what's going on. So it is possible that that could be like a two-tiered channel. I'm not massively sure that's right, but it's possible. A little break and a push high, so you've just got to be a bit careful there. Does look like it's going, but to be fair, it could just drop. This could be our top. It might just be coming back to retest it. It may not get there. It may drop, so it may trap some longs in there. Yeah, the trouble is, if you widen you down, that's why you got to be careful sometimes. For me, normally you go for the first swing. For me, it's a no-brainer that chart. In fact, I'd probably maybe do it like that, just a touch there. But that's a channel to me, and that's a break. I think sometimes, and you let me say this a lot, you're always best to assume it's had a break. If you think it's had a break, assume it's had a break, because if it has had a break in a new low, there is a chance it could go off in the other direction. Now, it's a bit unclear here, because if this is a range, it could go up to here, and in all fairness, it may come down to the bottom. It could be a leg and a leg. So it's always best to assume we've had a break, and it may go up, so just be cautious with that. And to be fair, it's got danger written all over that to me. And if you look there, there is a little channel there, so let's have a look. There's a little channel there. You can clearly see that, can't you? It's all working in there. We've had a break, a new high. So it's dangerous in all fairness. So just my advice would be, and this is what I do, is I always assume we've had a break. Okay, so now this may be a channel. It may be a two-tiered channel. We've come from here. I've widened this channel to touch here, but it's not guaranteed that. It's a bit messy, but we could have a leg and a leg and then a push up. In fact, I'm going to get rid of that because I'm breaking my own rule there, aren't I? So let's just put it like that for now. And what was I going to say? Channels sometimes aren't black and white, so you've got to be careful. We had this conversation the other day. Someone said to me, the channel's wrong. And in all fairness, I thought it looked really nice. And they said, yeah, but Max got it like that. Well, if you watch Max's video, at the end of the video, well, when he started it, he said you could trade it like this, the way I had it, or you could trade it the way he had it. But at the end of it, he did say, in fact, the other way was probably better, which was the way I had it. So that's it. You can interpret it so many different ways, so you've got to be careful. And I suppose that it gets better with experience, but so we push down touch. So that could be possible. It may be. Let me just hate that. Hate it when it just disappears. Let's leave that like that. Now, in all fairness, the way that's coming down, we could, yeah, that might be just a bit of a breakout. In fact, I'm going to leave it like that. I mean, usually the most touches. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches there. Maybe a small breakout. Maybe. Yeah, I'm drawing them exactly the same, bud. I'll drag this in quickly. You can see it. Dragging it all the same. Yeah. Now, obviously, don't give yourself too much work to do because it may be too difficult to trade the both. I don't know yet. I'm just concentrating on this one, but I'm glancing up at that one at areas now. Clearly not taking a trade here, but if we come up here, this is what I'm going to be looking for a trade. Now, if it's working on the 1000 tick better than the 2000 tick, and I'll know after a couple of days, then I'll may change over and trade the 1000 tick. At the end of the day, it's trial and error, but you've got to try these things. If you're struggling to make money, and it's not for lack of skill, I think it's from a lack of trades. And it was even Brandt that mentioned last week. He said this last week was probably the toughest week he'd seen. And a lot of people are talking like that. So sometimes maybe a little change in your chart time frame, maybe the trick. But it's just a matter of trying. It might not definitely work, but sometimes you've got to give these things a go. It's about adapting and overcoming, isn't it? That's what makes a better trader. You still got to look for exactly the same setups, but as Max says, price action works on any time frame. If you see a perfect setup on a 1000 tick chart, there's no reason why it's not going to work. Okay, so this is the area where you might see a trade. So it's a matter of just looking at the moment. It's more or less the same. I'm getting nothing extra. Yeah, you could do that, Brant. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it is possible that you'll get something on the 2000 and not on the 1000, see. So I don't know whether it really matters. I don't suppose whether it really matters. It's more trial and error, really, but whatever happens, whatever you do trade on, it's got to be an A1 trade either way. An A1 setup either way. You can't change anything. You still have to follow the same rules. But don't give if you're trying it and you're finding it hard, don't change anything. Don't give yourself more than you think you can handle, because if you're struggling, you make a mistake, it could be more detrimental. The idea is to try and find more trades, not to leave yourself vulnerable for making a mistake, because it's not for everyone. Some people, just may like to focus on just the one. And you've got to be able to multitask. I'd say it might not be good if there's any women out there, but I'll get crucified. So I'm leaving that joke. No, I'm only kidding. My wife can multitask. She could do her hair and put a lipstick on at the same time. So there you go. Okay, so you can have a glance from one to another now, because it's coming to an area where we may find a trade. So at the moment, I've got 3 bars, no pullback, and exactly the same on the 1000 tick chart. It's just one leg up. So there is a nice bearish bar, don't get me wrong, on both. In fact, the bar is even better on there because it's sitting on there, but at the end of the day, it's only a first entry. So it won't be a trade I'm taking. In fact, the entry does look better. I'll drag it in quickly. It does look better. It's fitting nice there, but it's still only a first entry. But that may have been different, see. There's a possibility. So this might be an area of a possible lower high. It's possible. But whichever chart I see a trade on, I'll trade on that particular chart. So there is a lower high appearing on the 1,000 tick chart, which I'm going to get ready just in case. No, congested, don't like it.
Order cancelled.
And it's only a first entry anyway. I thought it may break lower. So if you've got multiple screens, you can just literally flick your eyes up and down if you need to. Okay, so this may be a trade on the 2,000 tick chart, but not the... so I'm just going to get an order ready just submitted. In case. I'm not a fan of that, so you've got to be careful here. Okay, so this could be an area that it could come down to if it sets up, but in all fairness, it's no good. No, it's no good on either chart. Oh, great. Hate this. Hate it when it does that. Okay, I'm just going to have to reboot this quickly. For some reason, it's doing this more often lately. I don't know why. Hopefully, this will kill it. It's so annoying, that is. Now, it's nothing to do with the charts. It does this occasionally, but hopefully it's killed everything. Yeah, as cancel all orders. I've got nothing open, and what I'm going to do just to double check. Okay, that's fine. Let me just check. Everything's working as it should do. If I click sell,
order submitted.
Make sure there's 4 orders. Yeah, for some reason I don't know why that's doing it. But quick point to do that. If you do find that doesn't get rid of, obviously click cancel and then cancel your order and then just reboot it. And in most cases, it sorts it out. So just put that back. So touch. What did I do to get rid of it? Remember, I'm going to drag this in. I have this down here, and I'm going to drag it into the picture. I've got it hidden under here, and I'll show you. If I buy an order there,
order submitted.
It shows my trades there, yeah? So when you cancel it, if there's something left, a multiple, right-click and cancel all. If that doesn't do it, it will have done it, but just reboot NinjaTrader quickly and then just check it's gone, and it has in that case. There's nothing there. Yeah, see, the NQ was another option as well. There was a possibility looking at the NQ. But at the moment, the trouble is with the NQ, if you go for the NQ from the ES, the pointing system's different. So I know exactly how things work here with the pointing system. Things are a little different there. So my heart always stops when that happens. Yeah, it does happen. It's happening a little bit more for me, and I don't quite know why, which is frustrating. So what you'll do, if I open an order, I'll usually open it well out the way.
Order submitted.
You know, because if something does go wrong,
Order
and I
canceled.
don't quite know why it does it, but a couple of people have said it's happened to them, so I have to keep an eye on that. But if you open it well out the way, I mean, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and nearly 25, 30 points away, so it gives you time to react. And when you reopen it, if it's still there, then just quickly go on to Apex and just click flatten everything, and that'll do it. So let's have a look. Yeah, so it could start to be choppy again. See it. You know, Matt goes on about he loves days where it's ranging because he just shorts the tops and buys the bottoms. Well, you can't buy that, can you? Because he's stuck in the middle of bloody nowhere. Is this the bottom? Is this the bottom? Is this the bottom? That's the trouble. Every time it's low, it's in a different place. How can you buy that? All you can do is wait for it to maybe push higher and buy it. But how do you know it's going to turn you? It may trigger you and then come down. That's the trouble. So we're coming back up here now. So these are the trades I tend to stay out of because I'm not a fan of them, in all fairness. So let me adjust that. You could say this is a bit of an overshoot. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Overshoot and then a push up. I think that's okay like that. I'm quite happy with that like that. Range, yeah. Trouble is this, if we pushed up and then we're working in this side of it, I suppose we are to a degree. But there again, if this is a range, you've only touched once at the bottom, so you don't know. We may get a second entry. Obviously, if we get a second entry long, really, it's not the ideal place to do it because we've come off the highs. And as we know, in so many occasions, we get a push up in a channel, we get a break. We expect a new extreme in a lot of cases, but we're at the top of the channel here, so it may not. It may just come straight down. So many times, I mean, here we've had a break and a new high. Here we've had a break, but this is where we broke. We're breaking right close to the top, so you just don't know. Bullish imbalance. Trouble is, do you want to be going along into this? That's the problem. It may trigger and come down. So if we are ranging, this may be the top of the range. And we've bounced and we're on our way down, so you've got to be so careful going along there. It might work, but I don't want to go along when we've just come off these highs. Just not shorting just yet. Yeah, I'm a bit on the fence. I think it's more, a short's more of an option, but You've got to be careful because there is a hidden second entry long there. In my opinion, it might trigger and come down. I certainly don't want to be going long. Now, if on the 1000 tick chart, there is a failure there. There's a push up there. That's a failure. But you've got to be a bit careful because it's still above the EMA. Yeah, so you may go short here and it might come down, or it may trigger you and push up and retest these tops. It's possible. So you just got to be careful. But I agree with you, John. Yeah, I'm a bit unsure about what to do here. So my opinion, my thoughts on it, if you're not sure what's going on, stay out of it. Excuse me. Now, don't get me wrong, we've got a lovely channel up here. We've got a break. There's a short-term trend. We've had a little bit of break in that. That could be a higher low, but do you really want to be going long into there? It's a bit risky, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's not going to do it, but we haven't got much room to the highs there. I'd say it's more likely to come to here. Maybe higher, but I'm not getting involved because it's a little bit, I'm a bit uncertain. I think it's likely going to hit that top. But there's not a massive amount of room above there. See, I mean, it is a higher low, but a break out of here, but it's just risky. You've not got much room to those highs. Yeah, you're just going to squeeze a point out of that, depending on how high. I'm not saying it's not. It may push up higher, so it might not be. It might not be an issue. What I like about the 1000 tick chart is there's a failure there as well, and a bullish bar, so that may triangle once, triangle twice, bullish bar, second entry long that's triggered. That may encourage shorts in there, thinking, oh yeah, we'll trap there. Well, what happens? It comes down and pushes up. So the higher low on the 1000 tick chart is actually better than on the 2000 tick chart, and that would have made you a couple of points comfortably. But in my opinion, it's just a bit risky here. So regardless of how good it looked on there, neither chart got me excited about going long there. I just want to let it sort itself out. Now, if it's going to retest this top and then come down, then great. If it does start to work down then below then I may be looking for shorts. But at the moment, I'm staying out of things at the moment. But yeah, the higher low on the 1000 tick chart looked nice, a lot nicer than on the 2000. On the 2000, there's a bit of a stem. Yeah, it does. The only thing that put me off it, Brant, is pushing up to the top. You just never know, do you? But it did work nice. I don't know. Maybe that was worth taking. Let's have a look. Right, just up to the top of the channel, the big line across the top, you would have got 2 points. That went up to 2.25, so you'd have got 2 points from there. So on there, you probably wouldn't have taken that, would you? But on the 1000, it did look nice, and obviously the room on the 1000 looks a little bit more, but at the moment I'm a bit unsure what's going on. We do seem to be getting slightly bullish, but I'm just gonna have to keep an eye on this. Second entry short, in my opinion, we've got a slightly bullish feel to it, so I will be careful going short just at the moment. And if you're going short, it looks to me like you're picking a top That's always dangerous because it's up here on its own. It's above everything else at the moment. It's the high of the day, so you've got to be so careful. Doesn't mean it's not going to, but you've got to be careful picking tops. So are we starting to get ourselves a larger channel going there? It's possible. Maybe a spiking channel that. Let's have a look. Let's go from this one there. A bit earlier. It is still a bit early yet to work out what's going on. It may come back into here. Oh, excuse me. Okay, you got to be careful here. Possible second entry long, lower high. I'm a bit unsure what's going on at the moment. So I'm staying out of this. I don't know whether there's another channel and we're eventually moving out or we are coming back in. But there's a lower high there, risky in my opinion. A possible second entry long. Same again, risky. If I'm going long, I want to know that we're pushing above here first because it could trap you. Okay, so looks like we could be moving in. There's our first entry. Let's see what goes on now. I'm shocked actually about the Apex offers. I'm quite shocked. I thought for sure we were going to have an 80% off. They've extended the 50% off until the end of the month. I think that's a mistake, I do. And speaking as an affiliate, I know how many they sell. Because if you guys use my code, I know the difference between you guys using my code with the 8090s compared to the 50s. And it's at least tenfold. So they won't be having as much money coming in. with this offer. So whether they'll continue it till the end of the month, like they said, I don't know. But personally, excuse me, I was quite shocked. Okay, there is a failure there, but risky in my opinion. It's too far from the EMA. It may work, but okay. Okay, so we've got something similar here. If we can get a break, I'd expect a new low down here, so keep an eye on it. Now this is where the 1,000 tick chart coming in. If we just get one push up there and then it drops, but with no setup, nice lower high. You took that lower high, did you? Yeah, just a bit risky for me. Purely and simply because we're sort of making higher lows. You just don't know. And as I say, I'm not a fan of picking tops and bottoms. I'm not as good at it. It's not something I do a lot. It's something I'm monitoring, but I'm looking at that as a break. And the reason I am, because it's a break on the 1,000 tick chart. Okay, let's see how far we get down here. Yeah. So, what's going to happen here? Are we coming down or are we going to push back up? I'm a bit on the fence here. I'm not doing either at the moment. Ikitri, how you doing, pal? Could go up, could come down. Okay, there's a lower high on the 2000. Sorry, on the 1000. No good anyway. And I'm not looking to short at the moment or long, really. I want to find out whether we're going to come down. I'm just going to have to leave this at the moment. I'd like to see us come to here. But the thing is, we did that there. Mind you, that to me looked like it was fitting nice, and that looked like a bit of an overshoot. So clearly some support there. Okay, second entry short off here. I'm not getting involved. I don't know whether this is the bottom or not. I'm just going to have to sit and wait. Okay, you'd have got 2 points out of that one. But it's one a bit sideways. I don't know whether we're coming out. Well, it clearly would have stopped that anyway. You'd have got your points there, but I'm just, is this the bottom? I don't know. Is this the bottom? Is this the bottom? That's the trouble. And not only that, we had a little bit of a break at the top. So in a lot of cases, we'll have something similar at the other end. So it may just break below here and push up, but I don't know what the bottom is at the moment. We do seem to be working in this sort of area. And we've been down here with the exception of this, so I don't quite know. I mean, it looked like a bit of an overshoot there. That might be why it didn't come down any lower, but there's clearly some support and resistance there. You can clearly see that, and obviously this was the last time it broke below, and this is below here, like we had that break there, so we may just sit around here and then push back in, or we may come down to these lows here. That's the trouble really with these range days. Here's starting to look a little bit better to trade, but down here you can't. How can you go long off these? You know, what's going on, do you? So there's probably a couple of legs there. That one there, and that one there. So good chance of coming down here. There is some, same again, a bit of resistance around there. So. Hey Blippy, how you doing, pal? You just joined us, have you? I am trading the 1,000 tick chart above my head as well. I don't know whether you picked up on that. I just looked on Friday. I traded for 5 hours Friday and never took a trade. So I went through the 1,000 tick chart Friday evening and found two absolute beauties. And I looked back over a few more days as well and found it to be a lot better. So I thought I'd try both. Maybe continue to trade both, or maybe pick one over the other. Depends. See how we get on this week. It's a bit of a trial and error, really. Okay, we touched that measured move beautifully. In fact, that come down a fraction, so we've already hit it. Yeah, perfect. So that measured move's played out absolutely perfect. It did look like a bit of a bear flag, but with such a lot of, I sort of looked at that one, but there's such a lot of support there, so you just don't know whether it's going to trigger you and then push up. I mean, we had that, didn't we? And then it pushed up, so you just don't know, do you? We push up, that gets triggered, we come down, it doesn't pick up below there, so do you want to go short there? It's just, you know, it's a bit risky. Oh, anything set up there? No. Especially with this here, so we've we've obviously got this support here, and we've got maybe a possible bottom there. I mean, we're not to know this is going to happen. You just don't know, do you? But it's bouncing a few times. It could almost look like a bottoming pattern. We had this. It dropped below and then closed above it and pushed up. Sometimes you'll get a green bar, a red one, and then a green bar right after, and I didn't want to get caught in that, really. If I took a trade there and it triggered me and pushed up and I posted that later, they say, why the hell did you go short into all that lot? So as long as there's a reason like that, a good enough reason to not take a trade, for me, I just can't get involved. I'm getting a lot more strict on my trades now. I spent such a long time taking stupid, risky trades that looked not too bad, or, you know, like it may work, or this could be this. And it's almost got me into the complete opposite, which is better. It's better to be overcautious than careless. So we do seem to be losing a bit of momentum now. But if you look left, we've clearly got some chop there. So I don't know. That's the trouble sometimes with these range days. They just, every time they come down, they hit a different point. So how can you go short? You know what I mean? Absolutely, mate. Yeah. I remember back a year, I said this earlier, I remember back about a year ago, it may have been about a year ago, we had some really volatile markets. The ES was really volatile. The bars were printing like crazy. It was hard to keep touch of them. And I remember Matt mentioned about changing to the 3,000 or 4,000 tick chart, and I think a bunch of us did. I think I went for the 3,000. I can't remember. I did that for a while until things slowed down. So it made a difference. At the moment, markets are the opposite. They're very slow. They're just hardly moving in sometimes. So hence me coming down to the 1,000. I've just got the 1,000. I've still got the 2,000 here, but I've got the 1,000 above my head just to see if that gives us, any more setups, because effectively you've got twice the amount of bars on the 1,000. You think this is normal now, do you? Oh, I tell you what, I haven't met a person that hasn't said it's been really tough lately and slow. The pandemic and all that, yeah. So I'm just struggling to find a setup, in all fairness. So the beauty about the 1,000 tick chart is, I'll show you quickly. I'll just bring one in for you, bud, because you probably missed that. Okay, 2,000 tick chart. Friday, yeah? We've got a leg up there, 2 legs of correction, and a push-up. No setup there, none at all, just 3 green bars. If you look at the 1,000, that's absolute night and day. We've got a perfect leg up, a perfect 2 legs back, measured move, 2 leg of correction, and look at that higher low. Higher lows just do not look any better than that. And look, it's clearly not there. Exactly the same. You know, we've got a channel, break, 2 legs of correction, and a push-up. Beautiful higher low on the 1,000, nothing there. And I saw that multiple times when I matched chart for chart. So the more detail is provided us with a setup we haven't there. So, and we had another one later on a Friday as well. So for me, it's worth looking at. I suppose part of a trader's job is to adapt to situations. And if you are struggling to find a trade, yes, you've got to do something. It may just be that there are just lack of setups at the moment. It could be a number of things, but interesting. But with all these strategies, you've got to test it out. Well, like Max says, pure price action, you can trade. It works exactly the same on all time frames. So we know that. So it's a case of just trying it. I mean, I looked back for a few days and saw about 6 trades that were available on the 1,000 tick chart, but not the 2. So I've got both charts, the 1,000 above my head and the 2,000 here. So when we come to areas, you know, like this or the top, where setups are likely to appear, that's when I'll glance above my head and just see if it gives us anything. So there's a lower high. There isn't a lower high on the 1,000. So it's the chance of having a 2,000 and 1,000 opens up the door to having the opportunity for more trades. Now, it's not everyone's cup of tea. Some people might find it difficult to sort of concentrate on too. I don't seem to have a problem with it. So it's a trial and error thing, but excuse me a second. Well, absolutely. Many people do. I know currency traders, when I first started trading currency, we'd have 2 or 3 up there, which we'd be sort of scalping. So, and markets aren't moving too quick to make it difficult. And obviously, the more you get used to trading the charts, the more you identify setups and channels. And obviously, it enables you to sort of make decisions a bit quicker. So it's worth a go, because I am struggling to find good setups. So starting to get a bit of sideways there. Let's put that like that. So we're still away from the bottom now. I thought we may get a bit of congestion there because we've got some to the left. But the trouble is, this could be a bottom again. You don't know where it's going to bottom, whether it's going to be here. We didn't know where this one. You'd assume after this one may bottom here or come down to here. It did neither. So it's so hard to know whether you can maybe wait for a break up and trade it short to come down here, or whether it's going to trigger you and rock it off. You have the bigger channel. Let's have a look. Trouble is, in all fairness, touched here. It's only really confirmed. I mean, it does look like it works in there, but in all fairness, in a range, it actually generally means not a lot if we hit a bottom. I mean, it may break and it may come down, but it might not. It might just push up. It depends where people consider the range the bottom. As we say, after that and after this, you thought, okay, it's likely it's going to come down to here. If it manages, it could come lower, but we hit this area and then it's shut off. So it's sometimes markets get really choppy and it's hard to know what to do. And I think scenarios like that, I think the best option is, if you're not sure what's going on, you've just got to stay out of it, because even if we've gone from that and you have this, we've gone from there to here. What have we got now? An overshoot. So it could bounce and push up. So it's a bit, it's absolutely. But a lot of the times it might break out the top and then drop like a stone. But if you went from here and there in the bigger channel, you would naturally come to there and here. So you would obviously bring the back end to here and it fits nicely there. But here we've had an overshoot, so it could bounce and push up. But obviously once it starts going sideways, God only knows where it's going to go. See, it actually looks a bit better on the 1,000-tick chart. Because the distance between here and here is a little bigger. And usually you go from the top to the nearest swing, which is there technically, but it's actually only really 2 bars over. So see, sometimes you would fade the range, but I don't really want to fade that because this could be the bottom. Nah, me neither. In all fairness, because we don't really know where the bottom is the bottom here, or is it here? Or is it here? Could be here. We basically know where the top is, don't we? It's up here. It's within a few, within a point or two, isn't it? But down here, it could be bloody anywhere, which means it could come lower, or we might shoot up. So it's risky whatever we do. I mean, the way that's fallen does look slightly bearish, maybe, but then it may trigger and push you out. Yeah, it's just my experience is you best stay a million miles away from this lot because it's just going to eat you up. It's moving within a 4-point range, so it's just way dangerous. Okay, so if you did go short there, it triggered you, and now it's going to stop you out. There we go. So the trouble is, a lot of times we'll go sideways until we find a nice bearish bar to take us down further. And that may have been the one, but then it triggered, pushed straight up, stopped you out. So any setups that look like they might be a poor setup just get hammered. We see it constantly, that. Yeah, and when it ticks you by one tick, I'm assuming that's the algorithm's looking for a weak point, and that's definitely a weak point if you're going to go short there. But that's what I mean. It's areas where people go short. It's areas where I'd have gone short. But at the moment, I got no clue whether we're going to push up from there or come down further. And if I got no clue, no one has really. And obviously that's got a lot to do with why it goes sideways, just because of the uncertainty. We're going up. No, we're coming down. Oh, no, we're going up. Oh, I think we're coming down. No, we're going up. It's just completely congested. So whether this will result in a fade or whether the buyers will jump in, who knows? I haven't got a clue. The 1,000-tick chart is showing us a possible higher low, which kind of doesn't look terrible. We're going sideways. We've pushed out. We've come back. There's a higher low off the EMA. It certainly looks more clearer than the 2,000-tick chart, that's for certain. That looks way congested. I mean, I've stretched it down a bit, but it's a higher low. But it's a bit too early to tell, really. If it breaks above the short, you may fade down as a short on the 1,000-tick. If that breaks above it, it may push up, but it's still, at the moment, in my opinion, probably 70-80% guesswork. And you really want it the other way around. You want to have 80-90% chance that taking a trade, you know what's going on. But at the moment, that 80-90% is guesswork, I think. But it is holding, so I think it's more likely now we're going to push up. So this might be an option for shorts to get trapped. Second entry short, depending on how it feels. In which case a trade above it. No. So if you did take that higher low on the 1,001, I don't think it was a terrible trade, but in all fairness, too risky for me. If you took that, you at a 1.5. Now this looks like, on the 1,000, looks like a possible triple test. Not anymore. Okay, so you got, if you took that higher low on the 1,000, that you got more than your points there. So I don't think that was a terrible trade. So let's see if we can see something moving on up now. Maybe we are pulling back. Yeah, so if you go from here, that's a bit of an overshoot. So it is possible we are pushing up. It may just come down and retest that before it goes up again. Or it could come down, so it's just not very clear really. Lower high, yeah. See, I'm not thinking about short at the moment, in all fairness. I'm leaning towards long, although I'm not taking anything at the moment. If we can get something here and then maybe a higher low, I'd say, yeah, it's probably more likely we're going up. But at the moment, it's still a bit congested there, so it could trap and come down. It's hard to say. I'd say for me, I think it's more likely we're going to go up. That's just a sort of maybe an educated guess, if you like. Truth is, I'm not sure. I'm just thinking, are there going to be any short trades trapped? I don't think anybody's going to be short any of that lot, in all fairness. Second entry long here, maybe. There is a bit of resistance there, so careful here. You can see it along here. Now, there is a possible trap on the 1000 tick chart.
Order submitted.
Okay, there is a higher low on the 1000 tick chart. There's not much room to the highs, but it does look like a possible larger leg. I'm going to see how this falls. No, forget it. There's no room to the highs in all fairness.
Order cancelled.
Okay, now on the 1000, we've got a push up. We've got 2 legs of correction. So this might be an option for going long here. So yeah, no, I've got the 1000 tick chart above my head. Okay, so let me have a look here. 1 leg, 2 leg. So I've got 2 legs down and a bullish bar. So let me have a look here. Let me have a look. Sorry. Right, got to be a bit careful here. Okay, there's a failed second entry long which is triggered. 1, 2, 3. So, see this here, leg. It's a bit more clearer on the 1,000 tick chart. In all fairness, though, it's starting to look a bit bearish, so it's a bit hard to say. I'm not convinced this is a channel, in all fairness. It might just be fading this, but there is some resistance there. You can clearly see it. Somewhere around there. So it'd be interesting to see if this does come down lower or whether it looks like it is. Trouble is, you never quite know. If it breaks below here, then I think it's for certain we're going to come down further. But at the moment, it's bounced off there, which is interesting. See, I thought it almost looks like it's bottoming there. I'd say for sure there's going to be some maybe some long trades there with their stop probably below here, which we haven't hit yet. So it's a bit congested and a bit unclear as to what's going on here. It may come down, break below, but it might not. So couldn't get a lower high now. There was sort of a lower high on the 1,000 tick. In fact, it was a second entry short. I'll drag it in quickly, so that may have been an option. There,